Boom! What's up, Waves Capital? It's Royce Jacob, and welcome back to the channel. In this video, we have to discuss some of the parabolic price action that we've been seeing lately amongst a few of our favorite altcoins as Bitcoin has reawoken and led the crypto markets forward. We will also, of course, be discussing where these three gems are going from here in terms of price action, because although I do think a short-term pullback is likely given the extreme overbought nature of the markets at the moment, I do still believe that more waves to the upside are on the horizon over the coming months. And of course, I do want to talk to you guys about my upside price targets for those secondary waves. All right. On top of that, before we dive into the charts, we will be keeping it strictly technical today. I've decided that we won't touch on any specific fundamentals of these three companies or of these three projects. You already know what they are. They're in the title. Decentraland, Solana, and Render token. Three of my favorites in the game right now, and three names that we've discussed and really held in the Waves portfolio for quite a long time now, through thick and thin, through all the ups and downs over the past year. But I love to see them reawakening. I still believe in all of the long-term fundamental prospects that initially made me excited about these companies. So if you are curious as to my base bull case for all three of these names, you can just type in my name on YouTube, followed by whichever one you're interested in, and you'll probably find some older videos where we discuss the long-term fundamentals. Because although these projects are making small steps, progressive steps, it's a long-term game, they are making steps forward, they are making progress as companies and projects. But again, really, it's the fundamental base case that still makes me bullish on these. And that's why we won't really be touching on them, because I don't really want to go into any of the specific updates. But again, do want to talk price action. As far as one final word on fundamentals goes, the other primary reason that I don't feel it necessary to really discuss specifics on these three companies is because again, they are making progress. But when it comes to change, really the primary thing that's changed, not just in the crypto markets, but in the entirety of the financial markets, of course, is the macroeconomic backdrop with raising interest rates. And as of late, the reason, as far as the primary reason at least, that the markets have been making a comeback, not only Bitcoin, not only altcoins, but of course the equity markets as well, the stock market, is because this last CPI report came in cooler, which shows inflation is cooling down, which shows that the Federal Reserve will likely step on the brakes, when it comes to increasing interest rates. And hey, maybe even a pivot to lower interest rates is on the horizon. And if there's anything we've learned over the past few years, maybe even the past decade now, in retrospect, it's that the Fed rules everything in regard to the financial markets. And when interest rates are going up, it's bad news. And when they're going down, it's good news. So let's hope that they start coming down in the near future. That was all the fundamental talk. I guess that was a decent amount of fundamental talk. But again, not diving into specifics. Go watch some older videos for that. Right now, we're focusing on price action, on Mana, on Solana, and we'll close it out with Render. And let's get into it. Before, please give the video a like if you're excited, just to be talking about these three again. It's been so long, but again, that's just the nature of the markets. Things go slow. It's all cyclical. And I'm excited to say that I do think the bottom's in. I don't think this is just another bear market rally. And again, although I do think the short term, we could see a little red given, what we're seeing on the RSI right here. I'll discuss that right now. I do think the bottom's in. I do think the bull market, the early stages of the next cycle up, the next bull market cycle, are in effect right now. And again, although I don't think all-time highs are coming for at least another year or two, I do think the bottom's in. And that's, considering 2022 sucks so hard, that's pretty huge. Okay, so give the video a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, if you want to join Waves Cap, if you want to ride, hopefully what is the next phase of the bull market in 2023, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments down below, have you still held these names? Are you still a holder of Mana? Are you still holding Solana? Are you still holding my personal number one of 2023, Render token? And cheers, you guys. Excited to see the bull market. Excited to see, once again, the early phases of the bull market peeking its head again. All right, so Decentraland or good old Mana. And at the very end, we'll take a quick look at Bitcoin just to take a look at the king and close it out there. But Decentraland right now has seen some insane price action over the past week or two now. Okay, so starting back January 6th. We'll start from the bottom here when Decentraland saw its bottom, really at the end of the year. A lot of tax loss harvesting going on. And of course, come January 1st, the markets have already have really not taken much of a breather, okay? Which you love to see. At least growth stocks and kind of risk assets, which, over at Waves Cap, that's really our bread and butter. But from the bottom here, December 30th, to the high we just saw earlier today, Decentraland, good old Mana, has well over 2x, up 100, almost 168%, which is absolutely insane. But again, that's what comes when sentiment gets so low. You see that capitulation, and you know what? You get that excitement back, which is what happened after we got that. Really after we got the December CPI report, which is right around here, which is when everything started kind of going parabolic. But in the process of this 158% move to the upside, and this is actually similar to Bitcoin too. If you guys have been tuned into some of our Bitcoin analyses over the past few weeks now, actually, we've been calling for this head and shoulders pattern. An inverse head and shoulders pattern, which is good, which is what the bulls want. Head and shoulder, or a standard head and shoulders, as you know. As far as resolutions are concerned, that does favor the bears because it resolves in a downside move. But inverse, you flip the head and shoulders on its head, and you have the first shoulder here, followed by the head. This move up did perfectly create the neckline. At the same time, we did just test pretty long-term resistance here, dating all the way back to May. So boom, touch point, creating the long-term line of resistance. Zero surprise at all that Mana is seeing a little rejection over here at this line of resistance. On top of that, as I kind of implied a few minutes ago, RSI is going bonkers. Let's move my fat head real quick so we can see exactly where it's at. We're above a 90 RSI, which is pretty damn rare to see. Even if we scroll back, it's super rare. Only in October of 2021, the old days of Mana, when Mana went, it's so insane to scroll up like this. When Mana obviously reached its all-time, it was actually even before the high. So when we first saw that big move up to $4 or $5 on October 29th of 2021, I remember just before Halloween posting that video last Halloween and just being so pumped on how well it was being received, because obviously Mana was going ballistic. But let me know if you guys remember that. But again, last time we saw this level of RSI tested, again, topping out above 90, was back in that initial rally. And to be honest, that's not a healthy sign. Again, you never want RSI too low. You never want RSI too high. And considering RSI is my personal favorite, single favorite indicator when trying to determine whether an asset is oversold or overbought, right now, it seems pretty damn apparent that Mana is looking pretty overbought. And again, in the span of a week or two, we've already seen well over a 2x. So, just intuitively speaking, playing many hype cycles over the course of my life, that's usually you want to take some profits. And I will talk about my Solana trade right after this as we dive into the charts. But Mana, I do think, as you guys can see here, I know we've been, kind of taking this video easy. It's chill MLK day. And I do think that Mana will come down. Again, you guys can really see here, I've just drawn it out exactly what I do think will happen. I think we probably hug this line of resistance, use it as a new line of support over the coming weeks, maybe even spanning into February, see a little bit of downside. But again, definitely not new lows. I do think we do span this shoulder over the course of a couple of weeks, maybe see a pullback, go sideways for a bit, and then ultimately resolve this inverse head and shoulders pattern at least $1. Okay, so from here, even again, although we won't be going straight up to $1, it's always possible, you guys, given kind of the sentiment and a lot of the optimism coming back, this crazy volume that we're seeing, volume for Mana at 30 million when average volume's at 20 mil. So you're seeing like a 50% boost in average volume, which is insane. Or I'm sorry, volume as opposed to average volume, of course. But again, I do think we slow down a little bit given the overbought nature of Decentraland and a couple of these other names as well. But I do think the bottom's in. Even if we go sideways, it's not a big deal, because ultimately I do think this inverse head and shoulders pattern will resolve itself by the springtime. And I do think Mana will see at least $1 again, reclaim that big $1 level over the coming months. Okay, let's take a look at Solana and then we'll close it. I guess we'll take a look at Render and then close it out with good old BTC. But Solana, another name that's seen some crazy price action. So from Solana's high on November 5th to the low we saw on December 30th, again, right as everyone was peak tax loss harvesting. That was an 80% pullback in the span of a couple months. So when Solana dipped below, gotta move my fat head back. Once Solana dipped below $10, that's when I was really excited. I remember seeing even some people in the comments down below and in my Discord talking about, oh, Solana below 20 bucks, below 50 bucks even is really exciting, right? I didn't agree with that. I've never been a huge proponent of Solana at the market cap it's been, or the market cap it sits at when it's at like 50 bucks. But Solana at 10 bucks, now that really appealed to me, or Solana below 10 bucks. So in all honesty, me and Waves Cap, which I do want to reference, the first newsletter, actually not the first newsletter, this was a follow-up the next day after we'd established our Solana position right at the beginning of the year, a few weeks ago, or a couple of weeks ago, I'm sorry, this year is flying already. But Solana, I'm happy to say that Waves Cap, and please let me know in the comments below, you guys, let everyone know so you can get some daps. Did you guys get in on the Solana trade? I believe our average purchase price was about $8.50, maybe $9 tops, but we got in single digits. The next day it popped huge, and of course now we did see a bull flag. We did see that textbook bull flag play out, classic bull flag right here into wave 2. And I mean, this couldn't be a more textbook two-wave pattern. The Waves family, the Waves Capital patented pattern. It really couldn't have played out more perfectly. And, we're really bouncing right in the dead center of my target range right now. And this has so far been a very successful trade. So I just want to shout this out. This newsletter is from January 3rd, the first newsletter of the new year. And yeah, you guys, if you do want to trade with me on a daily basis, if you want to join Waves Capital for real, not just crypto, but of course, all of my stock positions, all of my options positions, call options, put options, how I'm hedging, what I'm long on, what I'm excited about, AI. If you want a complete breakdown of my personal portfolio, that's the first link in the description box down below. Of course, along with that, you do receive my daily newsletters as well. This is the third newsletter of the day, right? 3 every single day. It's the trade alert to the macro analysis, and then the price targets newsletter, which is this one where we go over charts, we go over price targets, and just kind of explain our trades and rationalize price targets and whatnot. If you guys are interested, once again, first link down below. Do $15 a month, $40 for every 3 months, or you can even try it free for 7 days, and just peace out if you don't like it. But I trust you'll be sticking around, and welcome to the winning team in advance if you do decide to join. If not, though, no worries at all. I appreciate you watching this video. Let's take a look at Solana, and you guys, in all honesty, it's difficult to say where Solana goes from here because, okay, so from the bottom, from $8 to, Solana's even outperformed Mana over the past couple of weeks, which is awesome and has provided an awesome trade. At this point, as far like my trade is concerned, as you guys kind of saw in here, kind of my game plan as we achieve these target levels. I have sold probably about 70 to 75% of my position. I was, of course, taking a little bit along the way, but once Solana hits where we're, I think I sold around like 24-ish. Once Solana was around 24 bucks, so I think it hit a high of 25. I sold about 50% of my total remaining position at about 24 bucks. So well over a 2x there. The beauty of that too is that now I have a pretty meaningful Solana position for the long term that has completely paid itself off with just this trade because I've already taken profits and solidified those gains. So now I'm pretty much trading the Solana position for free. Feels great, and I will let the rest of those ride. But realistically speaking, again, Solana is also another name with a fat head. You can see that Solana reached a high of about 88, didn't quite hit 90, but right now we are still in very, very overbought RSI territory, even on daily candles. So a short-term pullback wouldn't surprise me, you guys. Again, more upside is always possible. Another wave to the upside is always possible, but not getting greedy, I did take profits. And honestly, from here, it's difficult to say where Solana goes unless we, unless we come up here and start making this crazy inverse head and shoulders over here again. So maybe we come up, finish this neckline around 35 bucks or so, or $35, that range, go sideways for quite a long time, maybe even into the summer next fall, and then make our way back up for this really broad shouldered individual inverse head and shoulders. Okay, so that's just my speculation on Solana. The main reason I wanted to touch on it was again to congratulate you at Waves Capital if you got in on this trade, and yeah, just let me know in the comments if you did get in on that, because if so, congrats. Let's close it out. Sorry, not close it out. I keep forgetting I said we covered Bitcoin. Let's take a look at Render. So Render has seen some incredible price action over the past, like everything else. Not quite as impressive as the other two, but you know, it's still exciting given the market cap of Render and the fact that it's still hanging on when a lot of other alts are kind of faltering and falling out. Render's still seen, you know, 55% move to the upside over the past week or two, and I do think this is just the beginning. As you can see now, Render is outperforming all of the names on the watch list here. I know it's only 4, but still, Render is seeing the largest daily gain, and we are seeing a spike in volume here, which I love to see as well. And of course, given Render's small market cap and long-term prospects, I mean, I'm just pumped about where this goes. Again, the day-to-day price action, I always say this in the newsletter, the day-to-day price action on Render is realistically very irrelevant to me, and I pay very little attention. I'm still pumped to see it perform though, and you know, I love to see the volume, I love to see the eyeballs, I love to see the excitement, because ultimately when it comes to smaller cap plays, it's all about capital inflow. And the more people who understand, you know, the long-term prospects of the project, price action brings eyeballs. The eyeballs brings investment that ultimately brings attention to the project, and learning and educating yourself about the project, sharing the project with your friends. That's just kind of like the nature of hype. And although hype can be, you know, there's a lot of negative attributions that can go with hype as well. If you understand hype, if you're aware of that hype cycle and like just kind of the principles of what makes a good trade a trade in that sense, then, you know, hype is definitely your friend. Okay, so hype is a good thing, especially when it comes to smaller market cap stocks. Render, still a project that I believe heavily in for the long term. It remains my largest holding in my personal portfolio. And as far as short-term price action goes, although I do think Render will see a $10 billion market cap, which we've established is a $40+ Render token, which leads itself to obviously a massive, you know, like 50, 60x from here at least. I do think that in the short term, we can see at least 80 cents, which from here, let's get a price range going. From here to 80 cents, where we're at now, is about, you know, a nice 30% move up to the top end of this range. But that's a very conservative top end, because also you could say that like up here is kind of the top end of this range. And I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest to see us test, you know, 90 cents and maybe even hit that big, the buck level once again. Okay, so that's Render. Again, short term doesn't mean much, but you still love to see it perform as the #1 pick of 2023. Let's close it out with BTC, just because Bitcoin is looking amazing. Bitcoin is, whew, let's see when the last time. So Bitcoin hit an RSI of almost 90 as well, just below 90. But you guys, the last time Bitcoin, the Bitcoin's daily RSI got up to these levels was back in January of 2021. Okay, so all the way back in January of 2021 is the last time that Bitcoin has achieved levels like this as far as RSI is concerned. And again, although you can see here that it's still, I mean, it's pretty damn rare that you rip. It got up here, got very high, took a little dip, saw a rip again. So, you know, maybe one more rip is possible in the short term, but it seems very unlikely to me. And if you guys have been paying attention to the videos, to the Bitcoin videos, to the Riot videos recently, you know that we have been eyeballing this head and shoulders. Honestly, it's exceeded where I thought this would top out at. But as you guys can see here, I mean, this is pretty damn textbook. The peak of this neckline here is exactly where Bitcoin just got rejected of earlier today before recording this video. So I do think that we come down, probably test the mid end of this range, like high 19Ks, low 20Ks, just float around sideways for the next month or so. But again, I do think that this inverse head and shoulders pattern ultimately plays itself out. The neckline has really solidified itself, especially hitting that peak, which is really nice. It is no longer a lower high. Yeah, you guys, I think the bottom is in. I think it's likely that upside is on the horizon and more upside waves are to come. But again, short term, we're super oversold. It would truly surprise me if we didn't see a bit of a pullback followed by some sideways price action. But again, over the coming months, heading into the spring, going into the summer, especially going into next fall winter season, I think the markets are really going to wake back up. And yeah, I look forward to riding some green waves with you guys into the holiday season of 2023. I know it's a long way away. We just came out of the old one, but you know, eyes on the prize, you guys. Stay focused on the long term. Stay patient, because patience absolutely pays. And yeah, I'll catch you guys next time. Of course, I'll catch you in the comments below as well. Always interested to hear your guys' insight on everything we just discussed. And yeah, I hope you guys are ready for an exciting week ahead. See you in the comments downstairs. And until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.